my first 3 or 4 years, my division alone, 1 out of 27, is averaging 100 some homicides.
Wow.
That's three. If you imagine 300, if you put it down in numbers, 365 days a year. When you come into work, it's not a question of there is a shooting, who got killed, how many people got shot at, and you're stuck in the middle of it.
Welcome to the Veteran Battalion podcast, where 4 Marines help veterans achieve success. The mission is everything.
Episode number 3. Can I get a motherfucking Semper Fi for that?
Hell yeah. Hoorah.
Hoorah.
And I'm joined by my fellow war buddies here, Roland, Colt, and Adam. And we got a special guest today, all the way from Rialto, California, former Marine.
Trip, man.
Man, people still live in Rialto?
Yeah. Well, I live out there thanks to him. It's his fault.
Oh, he sold you the house in Rialto.
He's like, I got this great house for you. Just come check it out. Yeah.
So we got Mr. Daniel Malek here, LAPD, former Marine. Got some great insight, great content we're going to go over today. So let's go ahead and get it started. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Where did you serve? When? And when did you get out?
I joined the Marine Corps in August of 2000. I went into 4th Light Armor Division, Camp Pendleton, Los Pogus, H&S Motor T. I drove a big-ass LVS or Dragon Wagon or whatever you want to call it.
Nice.
So I got out in 2007. Technically, I was completely out. I joined the LAPD in 2005. I was deployed to Iraq, very first OIF with Task Force Tarawa, and after Tarawa went home, I got assigned to Task Force Scorpion, working alongside mostly the Army, 107th 3rd Airborne, and 3rd ID.
Nice. So you were in Iraq in 2003, the whole push.
Yeah, very first push. Everybody went up the middle. We went to the east. We took the Iranian border all the way to Al-Qut, and that was kind of our area of operation, just making sure the Sunnis or Shiites weren't bringing in weapons all the way up towards Baghdad.
Nice. I remember when we were up there, we were actually going to go through Al-Qut, and we got orders that said, nah, we got this other task force. They got it. It's all under control. So we just went straight through.
But one of the trippiest things that towards the Iranian border is I was actually, we were doing border ops, checking all the vehicles that were coming in. I was actually standing in one of the largest minefields in the world that, between when Iraq and Iran went to war with each other. I mean, that minefield was humongous. So we had set up a post out, observation post, and started walking out, and this little kid, starts running. No, mister, no, mister. I'm like, what the fuck? What? And then we just fucking stopped. We just stopped. He's like, no, kaboom, big kaboom. We're like, oh shit. And we just follow one boot print right back all the way back out. So yeah, that was pretty interesting.
Whoa. So nobody got hurt. It was just
nobody got hurt that
alert
day.
And straight out.
Yeah.
Dan, did you give that kid an MRE?
I gave him a Coke. She had a Coke and a fucking smile. So
did he try to sell you a Michael Jackson CD over there? Bootleg.
Or the Skittles, man. Yeah. The candies.
They like chocolate, right?
Man.
Chocolate, right?
Chocolate, yeah.
This one guy, at least that. They were holding like a real Iraqi flag, right? I'm like, oh wow. And he's like, $5. I'm like, perfect. Whipped out $5. I give him $5. He throws me the one he made, and it was like with a marker. Like they had a real one. They were trying to sell it, but he hustled me and gave me one with a marker on it. They covered it.
Man.
Yeah, like that.
I actually like that one better.
So, just so you know, and I'm sure you heard the first episode, that's why I sort of, what got you intrigued about joining us. And, we want to cover a lot of the aspect of your experience during the Marine Corps and then also transition out of it. How was that for you? What were some of the obstacles that you went through, some of the tough times that you had to dealt and get over in order to achieve what you have now, a successful career with the Los Angeles Police Department?
Yeah, tell us a little bit more about what he does now, right? About what he does now, definitely. And then the bridge to getting there.
Currently, right now, I work as a patrol officer. I'm actually a training officer. So the new booties that come out of the academy and don't know nothing, they get assigned to me, and I'm responsible with training them and watching out for them at the same time. So it's kind of like having a little kid.
Damn, so that term boot, that doesn't leave.
No,
That doesn't leave after
No.
the Marine Corps.
No.
You're still a boot.
Yeah, they come in, and you give them the respect that they've earned because they're grown people. Some of them are 22 years old, some of them are 40 years old, and some of them, I've had people that have had businesses turn it all in, and this is all they wanted to ever do, and this was the opportunity in their life to do it, and here they are. So, I give them the respect that they've gone through the academy, they went through the background, and they're here to be police officers. So. But I let them know quickly that, hey, this isn't a joke. This isn't the safe freaking environment of the academy where nothing's gonna fucking really happen to you. It doesn't matter if it's day one on the job or, uh, you know, year 22. You never, ever know when we're gonna be in the fight of our life, and you always have to mentally be prepared for that. So,
No, and that's 100% right. I think that having that right mindset up front, and it's something that we spoke about the last time we were here in regards to leadership and the respect that you have to give somebody before they even enter. How can you lead somebody if you're creating fear and trying to lead with fear versus being practical and showing by experience and being there in the front lines with them? And I think that's something that whether it's in the Marine Corps, a business that you're running, or in your position as a trainee, plays a big part in evolving that patrollee, that new officer, into becoming a great example of what the department wants.
yeah, because if just like in any aspect of life, if somebody's scared, they're not gonna learn. They're not gonna retain the information that you need them to keep in their brain, when we're out there working. So I let them know from the get-go that if they do something that's especially tactically unsafe, that's my paperwork, whatever. You can figure that out later on. But you can't figure out if you put us in a bad tactical position and now one of us isn't going home. Shit's over with right there. I'll pull them aside and I'm gonna get in their ass and I'm gonna yell at them. But if it doesn't really need me to do paperwork on them and they can learn from that, I just want them to learn, hey, I'm gonna chew your ass, get back in the car and let's go back and do it again.
So do you feel like there's a difference between veterans that come in and civilians?
Huge difference as far as when I get a guy that was in the Army, especially in the Marine Corps. I haven't had too many Air Force guys, or Navy. Yeah. Actually, to tell you the truth, mostly Marine Corps and Army. There's a little bit more of a trust factor as far as the fight is concerned. And I know I'll talk to them, and I like to get everybody's background first. That allows me to make judgments on how I'm going to train this person. Most of the Marines that come out and soldiers that come out, the tactical stuff is somewhat already there. I just have to adjust things, and their command presence, which is huge when dealing with the public. When you get out the car, they need to know right away, okay, this is somebody I'm not going to fuck with. Otherwise, they will.
I bet there's situations though where if they probably have too much command presence, they're put in a bad situation, a bad position, and sometimes Marines, they get out of control.
Right,
know?
and you got to reel them back. And then sometimes, I've been 14 years, and that Marine is still in me. I'll tell my probationer, if you see me getting out of hand, hey, you're a grown person, you reel me back, because there's times all I want to do is take my right foot and put it right through their chin, and obviously we can't do that.
Oh wait, so you don't stop somebody and then just get the fuck out of the car and just automatically rush it?
No. All those.
Or just shoot the car if they don't stop?
Listen, the Los Angeles Police Department is a community-friendly police department, and we are here to serve the citizens of Los Angeles.
No, I agree with you. I saw colors, so I agree.
Yeah, those days are long gone. And I actually, the beauty about how the years that I started and till now is I've actually got to see both sides. I've got to see it when it was the Wild Wild West and the crack epidemic, it was gang wars left and right, and you're stuck in the middle, and us transitioning into a community police department and building the trust with the community. So I think the one thing I want, when I had called you up about it, and I said, hey, we're not getting enough military guys, and there is somewhat of an easy transition into the police department, but it also is very different. You're never at war with the community. It doesn't matter how bad it is, and you can't have that mentality. You have to know when to turn it on and turn it off. So
Definitely.
So let me ask you this, because my point of view, and I guess I'm a somewhat fair person. I got, a lot of friends, buddies that I share with that are in the police department. And I have witnessed certain situations. And for example, this is in West Hollywood. And a buddy of mine, he's a sheriff there. I just seen him. I wave at him. We're talking, cool. I pull off. Literally right after that happens, there's this one just fucking smart dude, gets in the middle of Sunset Boulevard where there's traffic coming in, takes out his phone and starts taking selfies of himself right in the middle of Sunset where there's traffic. Now, of course, this is now creating an issue. Dude, I literally see my guy get out and just, hey, you need to move out of the street. He says, I'm not done taking my picture. He goes, no, you need to fucking move out of the street. You're now adjusting traffic. You're not letting it. Out of nowhere, his friend, girlfriend, whatever you want to call her, comes out running from the side. Oh my God, they're going to shoot him. They're going to shoot him. And making a big deal now creates a crowd. And I could just put myself in your situation and be like, dude, that's one, fucked up. Two, never really happened of a threat. The dude already committed some sort of crime, misdemeanor, or whatever it is. And the fact that now this police officer has to now back himself up and deal with the fact that the community now is going to look at it as a threat because they don't know what happened. They just hear somebody screaming. And normally that's how it is on all these videos that you see. They don't play the beginning of what happened. They play the end. So now as a police officer, what really defense does he have? Because this could go south in any way.
With something so minor like that, you have to be careful about how you're going to approach it, because in reality, it's just a ticket,
Totally.
And you'll see, because, hey, first of all, we're men, number one. Then, some of us, obviously, that served in the Marines and Army, and we're like, this fucker's disrespecting the hell out of me. But you can't look at it like that. You just have to do your job, and obviously, if he doesn't want to listen or whatever it is, and call other. But the days of just grabbing people and all that.
And I agree, man. But you know what? I feel honestly, and
It's
this
not-
is
you're-
just my
you're
point
not-
of view out there. I mean, God, I'm not.
You should have been snatched.
Yeah, exactly, man.
Come
I
here,
would have
come here,
grabbed
Dane.
your ass, made an example out of you, because we are in a society now that they feel so privileged that they have taken that privilege to a whole different other level. We do not have respect for authority anymore as we should now because of all these movements that we got going on. And listen, hey, I understand that not every situation is going to be 100% on one side. People fuck up. You got bad apples in the Marine Corps, you got bad apples in the Army, just like you will anybody else. I can name many in our business where we have bad apples, right? So you can't judge it based on that. But the fact that that has become such a big voice that interferes with your career, with the way that your fellow colleagues are out there, and now they have a different point of view from the community, because now the community looks at them differently. It's not no more, hey, this is the people we go to. It's more of, we got to be careful now who we call, because that person can be of a fear to me, of a fear to my family, to my kids. So now I'm on the defense before you even got there.
Totally. You have law enforcement officers that can't enforce the law. Which
Exactly.
is their main duty, their main purpose. And it's just with, the press, they make it so much more difficult because they feed into it, and they build so much separation with the general public and law enforcement where it only makes matters worse.
Did you guys ever see that grunt style commercial that they were going to air?
Super Bowl.
Yeah, for the Super Bowl, and then they pulled it off because
Yeah.
of what they thought. Dude, I 100% think they should have done it, dude.
Of course they should have.
Yeah, and of course, I understand their point of view. How many businesses have not taken a risk like that? I mean, look at American Apparel. I mean, shit, they were very
But at the end
high.
of the day, Grunt Style,
Risky.
most of their clientele who
Cost
buys
them
their
to tank,
stuff,
but
They're
are guys
military
like
and
us.
police officers and firemen.
They're guys like us. So
yeah, I mean, it was look, I look at it this way in business, right? So, and going back to American Apparel, they were very risky. The CEO had so many issues that came up. I mean, sexual harassment, all this other stuff. But their marketing, their fact that their fear of not putting out there what they thought was going to be what would attract that demographic, dude, it worked for them. I mean, they sold a lot. Their financials were fucked up, but it's all because of the management on the back end side. So sometimes as a business, I feel that if you make a risk like that, put it out there, and you have that niche that's going to support you. Because grunt style, dude, I mean, fuck, I work grunt style. Fucking everybody that I know that served or in the department will back it up 100%. In fact, the dude that puts out the baton, it's a buddy of mine. He served with me in 223. He's SWAT now. And I thought it got the point across. Hey, listen, this is what we do, and we're going to protect what we believe. And if it wasn't for them, our fucking city would be shit, to be honest with you.
I got a question. How do you feel about social media in your job? Like, does it make it harder, like, to do your job? Do you think that social media has a presence for you, or do you think it has more of a negative effect?
It goes both ways. It depends on what the person is looking at. We put a lot of good stuff out on social media, and then there's a lot of stuff, obviously, that's only showing the 30 seconds of whatever somebody caught
in a negative
and
light.
It's not the whole story. And that's the hard part, because just like with people, I mean, we were talking about how important books are. How many people really read books? I mean, they just take the little snippet of information that they caught off the news, and they run with it, and then they go tell 20 other people, and this is what's happened, without knowing the whole story. So it's hard. And that's why it makes this a difficult job. But I still want military guys applying for this job. I still think it's a good fit. You were asking me about the difficulties of my transition. So I went from, obviously I was deployed to Iraq, and then I stayed active duty for another 9 or 10 months. I took the LAPD written test at Camp Pendleton because they came down, and there's like 5 guys from my platoon that are LAPD with me. And then we have another 3 or 4 that became sheriffs because they came down to the test. Now, when I joined, it was a different time. The city of Los Angeles was extremely violent. I guess my first 3 or 4 years, my division alone, 1 out of 27, is averaging 100 some homicides.
Wow.
That's 3. If you imagine 300, if you put it down in numbers, 365 days a year. When you come into work, it's not a question of there is a shooting, who got killed, how many people got shot at, and you're stuck in the middle of it. So for me, it was easy because I already was in that mentality, and I didn't have to. Those years, there wasn't a whole lot of social media and talking. Hey, there was a gang war going on, and you're going out there, to get these guys off the streets and get these guns. And things have changed as the city has gone. The violence has gone down. We've transitioned to what we call a community police department, and that's the whole model.
So now I got a question for you on that. So, and this is for all the listeners out there that might be in the military or veterans that might be looking to get a career into law enforcement. What are the biggest challenges that you see with these military members and veterans getting hired by the LAPD?
For the LAPD, I think that they're a little bit afraid of combat vets.
Okay.
Especially if you've had heavy combat. And everybody, we as human beings, we all react to stresses different. You can be in combat and it doesn't really bother you. I mean, there's going to be some side effects, but you can still act normal and go about your normal day. Some people, it's just going to completely mess them up, and it is what it is. But unfortunately, a lot of these departments, they're looking at a lot of veterans like liabilities. That yes, there's some that they want, but how much combat have you had? And if a guy was to go in and says, and they ask, well, do you have a rating for PTSD or anything like that? Yeah, I get 60%. You can kiss that goodbye.
Yeah.
Because they're looking at it from a lawsuit liability. Can this guy go out, deal with a guy who was standing in the middle of the street, just being retarded, without kicking his face in? Because at the end of the day, they're going to look at that. Yeah. You took this guy and you slammed him to the ground over a ticket, right? And it happened. I mean, you see it. I mean, we see it in the social media. I just watched this one officer. I don't know what happened, but the guy was like mad dogging him, and the officer took offense to it. But we're in a different age.
Yeah.
And it makes sense. It's understandable because every department is under a microscope by the public. So,
and I think LAPD is just the worst one when it comes down to that, man.
It's not just and I don't want to brag, but it's just like when we join the Marines, hey, it is what it is, right? We're the best for a reason. But the LAPD is the same way. We are the leader in law enforcement across the United States. Whatever we do, whatever happens to us, everybody follows suit. What you're actually seeing in society is LAPD has actually already gone through its battle with the community and mended it and is building the trust. Yeah. What you're seeing now is the rest of the United States going through that same problem and trying to fix it. So, and I want guys that I was talking to the gentleman earlier, and they were saying, there was no reason that veterans should be getting turned down. But I think there's some things that can help them get that job by coupling all the experience that they went through. Obviously, they're going to have that tactical experience. They're going to have a mindset of when the fight is going to be on. But there's also things that we can help them to understand that, hey, if you want this job, you don't have to do it right away when you get out of the Marine Corps. Use that 9/11 bill. That thing is amazing. Get some school. Take a little separate, especially if you just come back from a theater of war. Give yourself a little bit of time to decompress, because you got to remember now the whole thing about being a police officer is de-escalating a situation. Correct. It's huge. It's part of LAPD policy is de-escalate. They're going to ask you, what did you do to de-escalate the situation?
Is that part of the?
He told me to go fuck off, and then I grabbed him and I tased him. That's not going. And you know what?
So basically, like firefighters,
right? I mean, it's. Imagine you already got the pressure of being a police officer. Now you're going to deal with the political pressure of it too, and you don't want that. So just like anything else, if you're gonna, I remember I was talking to you, and these young real estate guys. Oh, I want to make $1 million, and they don't understand the grind that they got to put in. Exactly. They don't understand the people skills that they got to use to connect with people and to build relationships. So, you can use your 9/11 bill, go to school, because writing reports is a huge part of the job. And even maybe get something to where you're doing a job that you're dealing with the general public.
Yeah, correct. Developing those people skills.
Because you're not with, all of us can sit all day long and talk shit, and we're going to have a good time 24 hours a day. Nothing's ever going to change because we're like-minded. But now you're going into the world where somebody has a bad day because the coffee machine isn't broken, Starbucks is a quarter mile away, and they can't handle it. No, I can't do it. And they lose their shit. And you're dealing with people who cannot control their emotions, but you got to stay controlled.
Correct.
So,
and I think that's where I think Colt had brought that up, of having that mandatory sort of transitioning center, and when a veteran exit could be there for a certain amount of time, and where you could apply these skills. And I think that'd be a great asset to them. And then maybe in the beginning have something where they could state like, well, at the end of this, I want to become a PD officer, or join this department, and have that full assessment done where the police department can see that and be like, okay, this guy's good to go. This guy went through a 1.5, 2-year process in which he dealt with community outreach and communication skills and passed these exams and took this and that. Dude, now we're getting somebody transition, and it also saves them money that's ready, good to go, and we just plug them into the academy.
And what we were talking about earlier is that, these guys getting out, they do need some type of a system or a platform or something to help them understand, hey, how to take interviews, especially even with a law enforcement interview. You need to know how to approach it. When I first went, I was going to be like, well, I'm going to go there, I'm going to tell them I'm going to kick indoors, I'm going to kick ass and take. They don't want to hear that. That's not what they want to hear.
Correct.
You have to know how to approach that interview or approach any interview that you want to take. So obviously we're creating a forum right now for them to be able to, ask questions and get those answers that they need to how to get these jobs.
And to add to that, our site's going to be up soon, so we're going to have some access on that, and it'll be more like a blog. There'll be a blog page on that if you want to put a post up like that and share your experiences on how to connect with, any first responder job in general, have those people that kind of respond to it and give you those answers.
Yeah,
Nice.
definitely.
That's badass. And I want to talk, I want to touch on it real quick. I know Colt mentioned about the whole social media aspect. I do see a lot of departments out there now stepping up their game on it and posting a lot of this, like community stuff. Like,
Positive.
yeah, well, you seen the guy that was playing the basketball with the kids in the street. Then you got them doing the challenges, the dances, and all that. And I think that's amazing because it's really opening it up to the community, letting them know, hey, we're also humans. We also have a life. We like some of the stuff that you like. We're still out there protecting you, but we're not this bad, mean, fucking shooting up people type of persona that the social media and media is putting it out there. So I think that's great. I've seen LAPD do a lot of stuff like
Definitely.
that.
And that's what we need more of, because the only time you ever see law enforcement in the light is in a negative light.
Correct.
And that's what we need. If you're out there and you experience, law enforcement doing something good, post that. Let it get out there and get viral so we can change this whole dynamic that's going on in society now.
There's this police officer girl. She's from Montebello PD. Every day she puts a post.
I know who she is.
Yeah, when she's on the beat. And it works. Like, she has a huge following on social media. And it's like, I never met the girl. I follow her, but man, it gives me a good sense of like, dude, that's badass. That's cool, and she'll put pictures like, oh, we're here now, and like with all the fellow, or she'll be with
What's her username? Do you know?
What is it? It's
I don't know.
yeah, she's with Montebello PD, dude. But like, huge following, and I think that's a great image, man. I hope the department's actually paying her for that.
And sometimes I'll hear officers like joking around about officers doing the music stuff or things that she would post, and but again, it does open up this like, hey, they're coming to work. We're not coming to go to war.
Exactly,
you know
man.
what I mean? And just like the social media, it's the same thing as when Marines or soldiers go and take these interviews with these departments. You got to present that to them. You got to present that, you understand what this job is of, protecting and serving the community, that you're there for them. And at no point are you ever at war with the community. And then like you said, now he's like, man, this guy is a Marine. He's going to have the discipline. I know he's going to be on time. I know he's going to shine his shoes. I know he's going to get the job done. On top of it, he's got communication skills. He's taking college. Now he knows, hey, that's the people that, I would rather have somebody that's not only going to have the communication skills, and tactical over just somebody. And because we'll get these guys. I had one, I'll tell you a story.
Story time.
Hell yeah.
We like stories.
We had this one kid, okay? And nothing against him. He probably grew up and I want to be a police officer. Some of them have no idea about what this job really is until they get out there. His first day, he shows up to work with a Rolex.
Oh, man.
Wearing a Rolex.
Wearing a Rolex.
Just a Rolex.
And
Bling,
we're looking at him. We're looking at him like, you're gonna wear a Rolex and you're gonna be dealing with gangsters and transients and dudes that been having their hands all up in their ass all day long, and you gotta put handcuffs on them because you're gonna be the first one to put handcuffs on them. You're brand new. I've been doing this. You're gonna do it. Yeah, he lasted about 3 weeks.
You're shitting me.
3 weeks, and the problem.
And then he quit.
And then he quit. He wouldn't. He was scared.
Really?
He was scared to touch people. He was scared to touch people. First he's showing a Rolex box. Now he's scared to put handcuffs on. And that's a problem because here's the thing. That kid, as good as he is, and maybe he just needs some more life experience, he took a job that somebody else could have done.
Yep.
That I know for a fact that there would have been a Marine there, not going to be afraid to put hands on people. It's not going to show up to work with a Rolex. Those are some of the things, and that's why I want to see more Marines on this job. I want to see.
Let me ask you a question. I've been to a few police academy graduations and stuff like that, and I'm nobody to judge. It's just my personal view of it. Dude, I see some of these guys that are graduating now, and I'm sitting there like, how the fuck are you gonna be a cop? Like, dude, some of them are like overweight. Some of them do look like they're just 18 and scared. Fucking web belts all crooked and stuff. And I'm sitting there like, dude, how is this going to happen? And then not only that, I mean, you seen where I live, and I seen some of these guys in patrol, and I'm sitting there like, dude, like, are you serious, man? So I mean, what's the assessment now? Is it like when they go to these trainings, is it more just like, let's meet a quota, let's just get, you know, whatever
No,
bodies?
it's to tell you the truth, this job is this is not, a lot of people think, oh, I just came from the military, oh, I'm gonna go get a job. This is a very, very hard job to get. When you get onto this department, you got to think, I think we get close to 1 million applicants a year, you know, and maybe we get a total of, I don't know, right now, maybe like 150 new officers a year.
Wow.
And all it's very hard because especially with the young society today, everybody's smoking weed and they've tried different things. That's just it. And then people would, another thing with me and you had talked about with veterans, you got to keep your credit clean.
Yeah.
Because again, that you just, whenever you're gonna do something,
I know. There you go, Jess. Hey, like, don't go buy that that brand new Mustang outside the main gate for 29% interest.
That car, man.
Yeah. You know, and that's why these things are important. We're trying to help our small community. You know, this community of veterans. You got to think only 1% of the United States of America signs of the dotted line saying, "I'm willing to give my all for this country." 1%. We are a small community that has nothing to do with race, religion, and we need to be there for each other and help each other out. So that's why we're you know,
that's awesome.
That's why we're here.
That's what we're doing. And we had brought up, and young Marines, they don't know about credit. They don't have no idea.
Correct.
So that's maybe on our part too, to, you know, be able to link up with, you know, the Marine Corps itself and different entities so that these young guys know, hey, because some guys join the Marine Corps with the whole intent afterwards to join law enforcement, wherever it may be, city or federal. They just want to do that first. They want to get that under their belt and go straight into law enforcement, and that's perfect. But you got to remember all the things, you know, the communication skills, being able to write a report. You got to keep your credit clean, because why? Because you deal with drugs and money, and the city. They're always gonna, when someone is applying, they're always looking at this person. Okay, over here, this one, who is not going to be a liability to us.
Correct.
You know, and unfortunately, you get the kids, like I said, nothing bad against him, but he was not made for this job. You know, I mean, I got stories of being gay about some of these guys, and that's where I'm like, man, and you know,
and see, that's where, like, I was explaining what it is, because I mean, I know many locked on Marines, and you look at them and you're like, dude, this dude was locked on, knew his shit, fucking conducted himself well in the Marine Corps, apply his mission the way he should have done, you know, lead the way it should have been, gets out, you know, gets divorced, credit gets shocked or some reason or another, and then that just stopped him from having a career in something where he would have been a great fit on it, but yet we took somebody just because they fit the picture. It's like the Marine Corps nowadays. I mean, look at all the changes going on in the Marine Corps. Yeah, you got sleeves, you're not good. You know, we want that picture Marine now that we could put up on a pedestal and show this image, and we're willing to sacrifice and lose the training, the somebody that's Marines. That's good, because we want to withhold this image. And I think that's where, I mean, a lot of times, fucking, whether department or whatever it is, that's where we fuck up.
You're passing good candidates by.
Exactly.
Especially for the Marine Corps as well.
Exactly. 100%. Now let's touch about obstacles that you had to deal with. I mean, I know you're not perfect. You got out of the Marine Corps, right? And you have a life.
Come on, man. You were deployed. Tell me some stories.
Yeah, you have a daughter. So, I mean, what were some of the obstacles that you had to deal with and overcome in order for you to get in the position you are today?
Well, like I said, I think for me, at the time I went into the police department, you know, I still understood that it was a violent time in LA. So coming from combat probably didn't look like, okay, this is going to work out. You know, we kind of need people who can handle themselves in that scenario. What was difficult for me as more on a personal base is that it actually took a while to learn how to become a police officer, to actually get out of that mindset of, you know, being ready for all out war all the time, because I had never really given myself that much of a break. And that was my mentality. You know, I used to coming into work every day, every single day. I would have Metallica on, and my brain, I'm not thinking about how I'm going to write this report. I am thinking about the worst case scenario that's going to happen today. I'm going to pull over some 18th Street gangsters. They're going to come out with an AK. My partner's head is going to go off. I'm going to put down rounds down range. I need to get on the radio, say broadcast every single day for almost like 10 years.
So you're going through this scenario already. You're picturing this through your head. And then at this time you have a wife. And
No.
You're not married yet? No kids?
This is in the
got zipped, and then what happened was he chilled out a little bit.
For all the ladies out there.
So this is before you were married, before you had a family and all that, right?
This is before I had my daughter.
All right, so I want to fast forward to when you have a daughter now, and you're still going out there in the beat, and you're still, at some point, whether you overcome this or not, you still have this in the back of your head that at any given time, you pull somebody over, and there's that 50-50 chance that this guy might come out, blow your head up. So you go to work every day with this in your head. How do you respond to that when you get home and your daughter's there? Is there a button that you're able to turn off? Was it that easy for you? Was it not that easy for you? Because in a sense, this is like war.
Every day.
Even if it happens or not, it's war. This is PTSD that's just getting on top of whatever you have dealt with already in Iraq, and you're mounting it to it. How do you turn that out? What goes through Daniel's mind when he gets home and now your family's there and you might have this thought or you don't, or how do you turn it off?
I think it's just like for every person that has, like I said, we were talking about stresses that get introduced. You need to be able to figure out what it is that's going to help you, whether it's writing poetry, doing jiu-jitsu, reading books. For me, it was working out. That was the only way I could calm down. You know, when I get off work, I was still at 100 miles per hour. It doesn't just shut off. You know, it's kind of like I'd get pulled. I don't want to get. Sometimes I would get pulled over, and I was very courteous to the CHP officers, and but it's because I had been driving fast all day long. All of a sudden, I'm not going to just be able to just calm it down, So as I got older and then I had a daughter, I started to realize, because obviously, being in war, I lost a good buddy over there. His LBS got blown to crap. Corporal Marenko, and we were good friends. I had known him for 3 years prior to going over there. And when something like that happens to you and you lose someone, it's different than if you're listening to if you lose a family member. When you lose somebody that in a heartbeat is willing to exchange their life for yours without even a second thought, I think that the day that he was killed, that I had never cried like that before, and afterwards, I've never cried like that since. My feelings from that day forth were it was a complete different thing, because obviously I still had 5 more months in country. You got to learn how to turn it off, lock and load, go back out there again, and you got to keep going. The time for mourning almost probably never really happened except for that day. So obviously I was able to carry that with me into the department. And believe me, there was nights that South LA looked like Iraq. I mean, you got bodies all over the place, and that's, AKs are out there. And so as I got older, especially when I had my daughter, I had to figure out how to get myself to be, I guess kind of, for me, it was learning how to be loving. Because the way I show love, I was like, well, I love you. You're going to start PTing. Yeah, hit the ground. And that's how I disciplined my daughter forever. Man, I mean, I'm sure most Marine dads are like that.
Yeah.
It's very, right now.
It's very, very difficult for us to learn how to slow down. So
I was just doing burpees with my daughter this weekend.
Man,
yeah.
My daughter is 9 years old, and she can do 25-man push-ups.
Wow.
She is ridiculously strong, and that's how
Colt can't even do that.
So you got to find, especially like I said, if you're gonna go into law enforcement, you got to find what calms you down. And for me, it's my runs. If I
just running,
do my 3 miles. That for me, it calms me down, and I had to run before my shift. So if I started work at 6 a.m, I'm up at 3:45 in the morning to get my run in, because I know if I don't get my run in, I'm already on edge. And then now I'm going to be going and dealing with people who they're on edge too, and that's not a good thing.
Correct.
I get my run in, and man, I'm just like, yeah, whatever, dude. You can cuss me out, do whatever you want. The minute, I'm gonna stay calm. The minute you get into this space and throw it, then your ass is getting slammed to the ground. But until then, I'm able to stay. And I just, as a veteran, you got to figure out what it is that's going to keep your trigger low, whether it's working out, reading, whatever it is. I don't care if it's painting. I don't give a damn. Those are some of the things that you have to do some self-assessment and figure out what works for you. So for me, running, jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, sometimes even when I go to kickboxing, it feels good. I get punched in the face. And shit feels great. Like, it makes you realize, like, okay, I better stop paying attention, get back in this, otherwise I'm gonna get popped again.
Yeah, I know. And it's crazy because I never thought Zumba had kickboxing. Right? So I'm assuming when you got kicked.
I think the whole
Zumba.
I think that's what you're relating to, is the whole humbling experience. Like being in jiu-jitsu, like I do jiu-jitsu myself. So I think it just humbles you back to earth, just saying, hey, I'm not invincible. I can get hurt. I need to be more aware, respect people, and all those things. And I think that helps with just everyday life, just in general.
Especially in your job.
Especially in your job, yeah.
And that's something, it's such, just from what you just explained to us, it's such a difficult job to do. And that's what I think. A lot of people, our general public, they need to understand that a little bit better. That you guys step into your car, you start that beat every single day, and you guys are risking your lives, and you guys are wondering if you're going to go home to your daughter that night alive. And at the same time, you got to do your duty to enforce the law and deal with knuckleheads left and right. And it's tough. And people just need to realize that.
It's a tough job, and that's why I definitely want more veterans coming onto the job, because I know it's something mentally and physically that they can handle. It's just now getting them to understand basically the politics of it, and that you have to go into this job with the understanding, okay, I got to learn to have communication skills.
Yeah.
I got to learn how to deal with regular people, not just Marines all day long or soldiers all day long. I got to understand that, the general public can't deal with problems the way I can deal with problems.
Correct.
So going back to that, like the veterans that want to get hired and get a job with the law enforcement agency, would you say that that's the utmost importance to be able to articulate the fact that they've been through combat, they've been through these life-changing experiences, but they can still hold their composure, communicate, and basically not lose their shit?
It's extremely important, and you gotta let that board know that says, that they understand that their number one focus is to be able to deal with people and to build trust. Because and it's crazy because, like I said, I've seen both sides. LA has gotten so much better, and it's gotten better because the people trust us. When I worked gangs, my biggest thing as a gang officer was actually building relationships with the community. I needed to build relationships with the apartment manager. I needed to build relationships with the owner of the liquor store, of the park. And that, it'd be like little things, like they're saying, hey, gangsters are out here smoking weed. That's not the biggest thing in the world, right? But they give you a small problem, and you get out there and you deal with it, and they know everything that's going on in the hood. They know everything that's going on in the neighborhood. You deal with that small problem. Hey, I can trust Officer Malek when I see something bigger. And he's going to be able to handle his business. So true, good police work is the police department along with the community. It's not just us out there. At the end of the day, there's a time where obviously you're going into a complete freaking war mode. I don't know if you saw the recent Las Vegas.
Yeah. That was crazy.
I put a comment and I was like, I don't know who that officer is, but he had to be a fucking Marine. Because he did not, he did not back down.
I didn't hear about that. What happened?
Oh, man.
Shooting through the window and everything.
Yeah, they were shooting at him. You hear him on the radio, he's broadcasting, shots fired at the officer. And he could have, he, just like anybody else, and like I said, I don't know him, but could he have pulled his patrol car over and said, this is the direction to go? Yeah, he could have, but he kept going. He's like, you shot the wrong fucking person today, and you got to think about the mentality of a bad guy that's willing to shoot at an officer.
Oh yeah, that guy.
What is he willing to do to the general community? And those guys
Correct.
had recently committed, they actually recently, like hours ago, had committed a murder, and the vehicle description had went out to patrol officers. He saw it, and then he went into pursuit. Kudos to him, and I'm just glad
That's
he's
crazy.
safe.
Do you ever see these scenarios that happen in TV, and then you sort of like self-analyze and be like, "Well, fuck, this is what I would have done different," or this is what I would have changed, or
Sometimes, especially being a training officer, these are all the things I bring up. I actually bring up a lot to my young officers. Go spend like back to what we were talking about, the fighting. Go spend $100 a month and sign up for jiu-jitsu, sign up for boxing, sign up for kick, because you need to know what it's like to get punched in the face. That way you don't overreact. Your sidearm, people can have a false sense of safety. That thing is there to defend. It is not your first objective.
correct.
Especially with jiu-jitsu, it makes you very comfortable with the human body in conflict. And even if someone's got you around their neck, you're not going to spaz out and want to reach for your weapon right away. You're just going to because this person's got, doesn't have any weapons. You got to remember, when it comes to uses of forces, the department's always going to look, well, why did you present your weapon? Now you got into a fight with your weapon, and now you had to shoot the person. These are crazy things, but these are what I want young officers
To understand.
to
and
understand.
have-
There you
Yeah.
go. Get a job at Starbucks and enroll in a jiu-jitsu class, because you deal with people before they have their coffee. Dude, you should see my wife before my wife has her coffee.
Oh man.
Don't get that caramel macchiato wrong.
freaking
Holy
beast
shit.
mode,
Yeah,
That's crazy, man. Yeah, it's funny because that's, my son, he started jiu-jitsu, and he has this one thing that he gets very panicky, and he jumps on top of the person, and he thinks that just by putting his weight on top of the person or the other opponent, that's going to stop it, and he starts panicking. I said, listen, man, I'm not no pro. I'm not a black belt. I'm probably going to say I'm like a 3-year white belt, just because, shit, I never got past it. I was deploying, and
Gotten farther than most people, bro.
dude, but I loved it. I thought it was a great sport. And the one thing that I would never forget, his name is Marcelo Perdomo at BTT Long Beach. He said, dude, the best thing is if you could find a position where you're comfortable, you could relax, and you could fight from there, even with your eyes closed, and just read your opponent that way, you will have the win. And it's true. And I try to tell him, dude, you got to find that spot that you're going to feel comfortable with. If that's maybe on your back, if that's maybe you on top of somebody's mount, and relax and learn how to read them and then attack from that point, you're going to be more prevailing than you panicking, going all crazy and thinking I'm going to just jump myself on top of them, and that's where to go. And I think that in a lot of situations, if you've ever been in a fight, that's the first thing that happens. You get hit, you panic. You automatically panic. You think that, oh man, I'm going to sweep them, I'm going to start punching them, and you're going to go all this crazy stuff. And the next thing you know, it's just you need one punch that could sneak from you, hit you right in the right spot, and you're on the floor.
I don't care how tough you are. One good haymaker.
Yep,
Yeah.
you're done,
Lights
dude.
out.
Done.
You be cut the Dell, it don't matter.
Yeah, dude. And it's like everything. If I go out, I don't know if you guys have this, but if I go out, I have to sit in a certain place so I could have a better view of the whole location.
Always, yeah.
Dude, it's just like yesterday, we went to go eat with my wife, and like she picks this booth that's like one right next to the exit. The other door comes in through the kitchen, and then we're like right front sight if anybody comes from the front door. And I'm like, dude, this is not like best location here. She goes, what are you talking about? Just sit down, you're crazy. I'm like, no, if we get attacked from this side, I'm getting shot here. If the guy comes from this side.
Stop being so paranoid.
Bro, but it's
We're just
true.
eating
That's
dinner.
just, like, even when we go to a bar or stuff like that, and I've been with people, with friends that, just have 1-2 drinks and fuck, look, that motherfucker's looking at me this way. And then I just start backing up, dude. I'm like, fuck, dude, let your ass get fucking
Look, shit
kicked,
happens
dude.
anywhere, and you got to be prepared.
Exactly, man. And it's, look, you don't pick a fight. It's just like, I'm pretty sure in your position, you stop somebody, your objective is not like, I'm gonna fuck them up. It's more analyze the situation, get a view of your awareness, see how it all pans out. You get the higher road, ensure everything's good to go, and then you engage that way, just like you would in any situation. So I think that's great, man. Does the police department provide any stuff like that, jiu-jitsu or shit like that, or somebody has to go pay on their own end?
Yeah.
I know they a gym membership, right? Gold or
Yeah,
something?
they if you come onto LAPD, little banner. Hey, you'll get a free gym membership. Yeah.
Join the LAPD today and get a free gym membership.
Yeah, I think we even offer a bonus now. You get some money. You get some money and a gym pass. So
Shit, money. What is it, like 5K, 10K?
I think they have like 5K right now or something like
Is
that.
it up front or it's like get your 5K after you complete your career?
I think it's probably like 2,500 after the academy and another 2,500 if you pass probation.
Nice.
So, something of that sort. But definitely, want to put, as you said, like a blog or something that veterans can look at and how they can start to approach it. This is what they want to do in law enforcement, how they can approach it, because it is very different than how it used to be. I don't even consider the LAPD anymore. I mean, everyone, police departments are paramilitary. No, we are a community police department. And the more you start to understand that, then you can start going from there. And again, with the communication skills, and even me and you had started, we were talking about how important books are.
Yeah.
When you read, your communication is going to be better. Your verbal skills, you're going to have more words to use, and your report writing is going to be better. And for me personally, I read all kinds of books on warfare. You got to find books that interest you, and those things can help. We can load up like different books for veterans to read that we'll know that they'll have interest in.
Right.
Because going to an English class is not for everybody. I know it wasn't for me. I mean, shit, I have a hard time sitting still. So
yeah, no, definitely. What's the most kind of tough scenario that you deal with in the police department where, it's just kind of you hit that line where you were just like, fuck, shit's about to hit the fan?
We want to hear action.
Yeah. What's crazy now is that I think just like all people who've been in combat, we bury stuff deep in our brain and we don't even think about it anymore. It's like I have to, even though I've been through ridiculous amount of stuff, it's like I've learned now how to take off my uniform, put it in my locker, take my boots off, and I'm fucking out. I don't even think about it no more.
That's a great PC answer right there.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? Even though this show is horrible, that 911 show, it's horrible. It's horrible. But the lady made up a good point. She said that the uniform is made to protect you. That way you can take it off and be yourself again. I like that. But that's pretty cool. That's something that's learned through the job. And it's something as a training officer, I try to give these young officers, I want them, if you're not out there running, PTing, doing push-ups, and we get in a foot pursuit and you're too tired to pull out your weapon and put some rounds down accurately and you get killed that day, well, guess what? That's shame on you because this is your profession and you need to keep that discipline. I mean, and that's why I guess it's important for me to keep getting veterans on this job because the discipline portion, some of them do need a drill instructor yelling at their ass at 5 a.m, but it's still somewhere in there and they'll have that. So I do try to implement those things when I'm training young guys. Also train them how I try to get them, not just about report writing and all the tactics and things, but how you're going to deal with this life with other people.
Correct.
Dude,
all right. So since he does not want to give it out, we're gonna fucking ask him. Okay. We want some fucking action up in here. All right. Food pursuit happened? Yes or no?
I've been fortunate enough in 14 years as a police officer. I've literally done everything that a police officer can do. There's nothing that I haven't dealt with. It's part of, I think that, me being naturally aggressive, because that's just what I do. The Marine in me that makes you understand, hey, it's mission accomplishment first and troop welfare second. That's how I always look at things. So yeah, I've done it all. That it's just hard to, as far as car pursuits. I mean,
everybody's sitting there waiting like fuck. All right, so
I mean, you want a specific?
Yeah, give me a good one, man. We want one where like you got out the car, you ran, you got up the building, fucking jumped from one building to the other.
I'll give you a funny one. So this is before President Obama became president. All right, and I had gotten to a lot of stuff before that. So my sergeant, he put me on a detail. He said, your only fucking job tonight, and this is when cussing was kind of okay in the department. Now, and for you fellow devil dogs and soldiers that want to become police, you got to learn to stop. It's hard. You got to stop using that language.
I get fired.
Day one.
It's difficult.
Fired day
Yeah,
one.
you could tell just by our podcast episodes.
We would've
Maybe
been
that's
fired.
why I got the
We
line.
drop the F-bombs very sparingly.
They look at everything. They look at everything. Okay, so that night, he's like, you got one fucking job to do. I want you to park the fucking car on King and Crenshaw
Okay.
and watch the NBC, because there was going to be a parade for Obama coming down. He said, all I want you to do is sit in the fucking car. I don't want you doing anything. I don't want you stopping or all that. Watch the NBC people. Make sure none of their shit gets ripped off or nobody gets. I'm like, all right. And I'm 4 years on the job, man. I'm like, I'm high octane like all the time. So I got my car. Across of Crenshaw is a blood neighborhood. I hear like 4 rounds go off, boom, 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 and I'm just like, oh. I was like, okay, he told me to sit still. He told me to fucking sit still. And I'm like, dude, but I'm the fucking closest one. I'm just like, okay, all right, well, he said, don't go past this area. So I can kind of look around and still be in the air. As long as Channel 7 News is in somewhere of my view, I'm okay, right? He said, watch them. Okay, sounds good. So boom, I fucking take off. So I go across the street.
On foot?
No, in my car. I go in my car. I'm by myself. Usually we're always 2-man, but that night they kept me by myself. Go across the street, and I hear the 4 shots. Obviously, it's a blood neighborhood, so they wear red. That's the thing. I see a black Mustang and this other male black, and he's wearing a lot of blue on. I'm like, that does not look right.
Yeah.
So as I start, and this is within the mall, but like I said, I can still see the Channel 7 News. So I'm doing my duty, right? You know, we don't leave our post, right? So I'm like, okay, I can still see them. I'm good. I pull into the parking lot. I kill my lights so I can start rolling up on them a little bit slower. The male that was wearing all blue, he catches view of the police car. And I'm about maybe 45 yards. No, actually closer, probably about 20, 15. He goes bold. He's running. And guess where he's running right at?
Oh, the parade.
The fucking Channel 7. And I was like, oh, shit. Now I got to protect them, too. So obviously they were probably what was going to happen, and this is just from experience, what was going to happen is the car was going to pick up the weapon that was just used. They're going to take off southbound or wherever the hell they are and get out of Dodge. That way, even if homeboy gets stopped, you don't got a weapon on.
You don't have nothing.
Well, they didn't get the handoff yet. So I'm within 15. He starts running. I start running. My police car just fucking ghost ride the whip because I had the door. You obviously in a tactical situation, you don't want to be in a coffin. So my door is already kind of cracked.
You don't have your seatbelt on. Nothing.
I'm ready to put it in park and start running or do whatever I got to do. So.
In this system, you didn't even put it on park. You just got out and started doing the kicking challenge.
I just started running, and I didn't even think about it. So my car ends up going up onto the like a little parking embankment. So it kicks up, doors open, keys are probably still in there. I'm in foot pursuit of this guy. I'm on my radio. I'm putting it out. He actually hits the ground. Now, because things are moving at your adrenaline is pumping, things are moving at 1,000,000 miles per hour. I didn't see that he hit the ground. I'm telling them, don't move with those exact words. There was no cuss words. Yeah, right. So I'm telling them, don't move. And then his jacket, I didn't see it come off, but his jacket came off. He gets back up and we go running. And guess where we're running at? We're running right at the Channel 7 News people. I'm like, oh man, I'm about to be on the news right now. Yeah. So I'm broadcasting, we're putting it out. We hit an alley. Obviously, when you hit an alley and you lose sight of him, now you got to start slowing down.
Yeah.
We put out a perimeter. We get some canines out there. We ended up getting him within about 20 minutes. Turns out he was the one who did the shooting. So what happened was when he dropped his jacket, the strap was in the jacket. So a lady saw me chasing him, and this is, you know, there's plenty of good citizens. She came and she grabbed the jacket and she said, "Hey, Sergeant, while your officer was chasing the guy, he dropped the jacket." And then, you know, he had a little, it was just like a little 22 that was in his jacket. So he went to jail that day for that. So
Nice.
yeah, but that was just one of them.
Nice, good job. Let's give him a hand for that. Yeah.
I got something. Did you get in trouble?
I did get yelled at
For the car.
for going and not staying on post, like, and you know, and then obviously they don't want you chasing people by yourself. But
What were you supposed to do?
just stay next to the fucking Channel 7 news people. That's what I was supposed to do all night long for my 12-hour shift. You know, and I was gonna have other officers come by, relieve me if I need to get something to drink or whatever. But that was what I got assigned that day. So, and then even though the crazy things happened, you do learn from those. You know, I had a veteran officer that I respected come to me and said, "Hey, dude, you can't be out here fighting every day. You come out here, you're a good officer, but you're at 1,000,000 miles per hour every single day. You gotta slow down. Things like what you did, yeah, you got the guy in custody, yeah, you got the gun, but you're out there by yourself. If maybe you didn't broadcast clear enough and you got popped,
Yeah, could have got sideways in so many ways.
so many ways, and that's the growing part. That's the growing part that you learn. But again, you know, I think that comes from that nature of being a Marine, and then coming to that's just how I was like, whatever.
Definitely.
You know, and even when he said that to me, I'm just thinking like, yeah, whatever, dude. But as years go on, and I got a little older as an officer, and now I got younger officers. I'm like, damn, you learn from those experiences.
Sounds good. No, well, definitely, man. Well, fuck, man. Great time having you here, man. Great content here, putting out there, helping these veterans out. And yeah, man. Steve.
Hey, JP.
Yes, sir.
Before we end, what's on your sleeve right there? What's it say?
It says unfuck yourself.
And that's your company in the front?
Yeah.
That's cool. That's all I want to say. That's all. Good. I like it.
No, and the story behind that, so many people used to come and ask me like, "Oh, I gotta do this and that. I gotta do this and that." And I'd be like, "Fuck, dude, you're just fucked up. You gotta start with unfucking yourself, you know? Unfuck yourself, and then we can fucking get somewhere."
Yeah.
The truth, man. But you know, man, stay vigilant out there, dude. And thanks for coming. Thanks for stopping by the War Room.
Thank you, man.
Sharing your thoughts, and hope you guys got some great insight off of that. And we'll see you next time, man. We're out.
Thank you for listening and serving. Please take the time to leave a review on iTunes to get this podcast heard. The mission is everything.